very big hello from the Unitech Golf and Country Club in Noida. You're watching Tea Time. I am Chaiti Narula. From the age of information to the age of collaboration, IT has come a long way. Discussing this and much more in much detail is the Managing Director of Avaya India, Rajeev Mittal, with me on the green.
On the show this week, we have Rajeev Mittal, MD Avaya India.
We have not really covered the market the way we should have. So we see huge opportunity in that. So that's a basic growth engine. Mid-market will be our growth engine.
In news, Zach Johnson wins the BMW Championship and Suzanne Peterson wins Evian Championship, the final women's major of 2013.
Left-handed golfer for the first time on my show. Just
Hi.
noticed that. Welcome. Welcome, Rajeev Mittal on Tea Time. Wonderful to have you today at the Unitech Golf and Country
Thank
Club.
you.
Now let's discuss about your avatar of being the Managing Director of Avaya India. I was reading somewhere and it said that you are the one who creates the difference between a business that thrives from a business that stagnates. Tell me a little more about how you do this at Avaya.
We have seen a lot of people look at the growth and think about it as an incremental opportunity. What you need to look at is how do you really do things which is game changing. And that's where the whole thriving versus a normal growth strategy comes into play. And you have to identify your segments, your strategy, which is attributed to that.
Right.
And that's where I think I have been focusing on.
Right.
More so on the segments like mid-market, where we think we have underserved and where we see huge opportunity.
So now the age of information to the age of collaboration in the IT sector, we've come a long way. What do you have to say about that?
I think if you look back at the evolution of IT and the way we have been,
Right.
it's been kind of, from a pure infrastructure point of view, it was the age of isolated, best-of-breed situation. Then people were siloed. Now, as you start looking at the evolution in the business itself, you have matrix organizations, you have collaborative effort, without which you can't achieve much.
Right.
And the technology becomes the enabler for that. So if you look back how the technology was used on a pure accounting, financials, and those areas, to look at technology where it is. The email, the collaborative tools, the social media now. So all these kind of leverages each other's experience to draw on and collaborate in a much more effective way. So I think it's come a long way. If you look at any business today, no business can thrive on siloed approach. And what we have seen is the businesses which collaborate better actually have a better results as well.
What would your macro vision be for the sector? What is it looking like at this point of time?
You see, the sector is challenged, no doubt about that. And you have heard about the telecom industry, how it is evolving. But at the same time, in this challenge environment, there are a lot of opportunities. So whether how efficient they drive their interaction, one of the key themes which is emerging is how you're managing your customer experience. The days of 1-800 numbers to call is kind of fading. And if you see the technology trend and the behavioral changes, which is technology has to keep track of that.
Absolutely.
And really keep pace with it. So what we are seeing is, even in the challenge environment, there is a room to do cost efficiency, enhance customer experiences. And those are the two areas which we feel we can contribute to.
In many ways, then one, technology does travel faster than light as well in this day and age. So it must be quite a challenging task for you. The other very challenging thing which I notice is your game of golf, because you're a left-handed golfer. Is that challenging at all?
Oh, no, not at all. Actually, I'm a right-hander. I play golf left-hand, and the reason for that was I used to play cricket in childhood left-handed. So started when I learned golf, I started with the right-hand golf set, and I felt uncomfortable. Then I went back to left-hand, and that's where I am.
All right, on that note, let me tee off. Come.
Sure.
Now on SMEs, small MSMEs and SMEs, designing, marketing, devising communication strategies and communication for them is a much more harder task, considering they have to keep working harder, much harder than the bigger ones to beat the competition as well. How you're devising these strategies for SMEs as well?
I see, SMEs is like not really one word in that sense. People make a mistake of clubbing them together. Actually, small is different, medium is different, and within medium there are different sizes.
Oh, really?
So the segmentation, the way common language is, enterprise and SME, it doesn't work that way. So you have to firstly sub-segment them. And if you look at the larger mid-market companies today, they're going to be enterprise tomorrow.
Absolutely.
The challenge they have, exactly what you pointed out, is that they have all the challenges and the problems of a large business, but they don't have the resources for the large business. And then therefore, technology adoption becomes a challenge for them.
A challenge for them. Also, they're not too open about adopting technology as faster as the larger companies, because it's more expensive for them to adopt.
Absolutely, absolutely. And that's where I guess the new business models which are emerging, OPEX versus CAPEX kind of thing, where you see the cloud offerings coming in, which is more subscription-based than upfront investment, pay as you use. That really helps and will help the SMEs to adopt technology faster as compared to that. That's the barrier of price and capital has been taken away with that. Now that adoption is slow, but I guess it's going to have exponential growth as we move forward.
How are you at Avaya devising these and chalking these out for SMEs?
So we sub-segment the market, as we said. And what we are looking at is, in the mid-market segment, there's a set of products which is relevant to them. So one of the key themes about SMEs is your product should be easy to use, easy to install, easy to manage. And of course at the right price. And that's one part. So that's the product designing, pricing and packaging piece. The other piece is about go-to-market. And since India is a large country and you have a very spread out organizations across the country, you need a good coverage model. And in our case, it is about through partners.
Right.
So we have channel partners who cover the entire length and breadth of the country. They have the technical expertise. We invest in their enabling them as well. Those are the two parts. The third piece is about the awareness. Do they understand the value? Do they understand what they get out of it? And they're more cost conscious than anybody else. You have to play for long term. You cannot get in and get out of the marketplace. It takes a lot to build a channel. It takes years. Over years, you build a channel. It's over years that the market opens up. So there are low-hanging fruits at the top end of the town in the mid-market. But the smaller segments are more resistant to technology adoption, as you rightly said.
So now India is expected to be one of the world's third fastest enterprise software market by 2016, and this is a research published by Gartner. How optimistic are you at Avaya?
We are bullish about it, not only optimistic. From Avaya's point of view, we have not really covered the market the way we should have. So we see huge opportunity in that. So that's our basic growth engine. Mid-market will be our growth engine. We estimate that we'll be much faster than the market in terms of growth, both from a penetration point of view as well as a market share point of view.
So Rajeev continues to be bullish about this sector. The weather is getting just about right for us to continue with our game. Good time now for us to take a breather right here on Tea Time. Rajeev Mittal, the Managing Director of Avaya India, and me, Jayati Narula. We will see you on the other side. Welcome back to Tea Time. Now, India's share in the Asia-Pacific region in the software market is about to hit 12% thereabouts, representing 5.4 billion in terms of revenue as well. And these are figures I'm quoting from Gartner as well. What remains your broader game plan on the back of these figures?
As I said earlier, it's the same thing. It depends upon which sector you focus on. In our case, it is mid-market, which we see as a growth, and that seems to be the fastest growing segment.
Right.
You look at the SMEs and the smaller segment, that's where we think a new business model which is emerging on cloud. That we see as a huge opportunity in the next 5 years. If you look at from an enterprise, this is about consolidation. This is about new technology adoption in the areas of where they can get cost efficiency or they get better customer experience management as well. So if you cut it across all segments, there are pockets of opportunity, but by far the biggest will be mid-market.
Interesting. Let's continue our game. Come. Now, mobility is a trend that is emerging and it's an upswing in this country. In a couple of years from now, you're going to have a splurge in what you call an onslaught of mobile devices in this country as well. Do you have a plan on that front as well?
Absolutely. If you look at mobility from two aspects, one, what we understand mobility as a smartphone, mobile phone devices. Another part of the mobility is the mobile workforce.
Right.
How you work, where you work.
Right.
You can work from anywhere. You need information anytime.
Right.
On both sides, if you look at our applications on mobile per se is one part where we are very well entrenched. The second part is about mobility, which is about bring your own device. And
BYOD,
yeah,
as they call it.
BYOD, yes. And that is something which is emerging faster. In fact, India is leading the pack on that.
Right.
More than 80% of the organizations, they are onto mobility and more on the as a strategy on BYOD. Yes, there are concerns on security, devices and things like that, but that's kind of, with technology, we have technologies which really secures your network as well.
Sure.
So those are focus areas, those are growth areas as well. The smartphone penetration is increasing significantly.
Absolutely.
You look at in the next 3 years, it's going to be more than 5x,
Right.
vis-a-vis what it is today. That will create more application market, it will create more behavioral change on how people work. We have video solution which works on your desktop, which works in a room-based video, as well as it works on your mobile. So you can have a video conference on your mobile along with the audio. And it works across different devices, different operating system as well.
Interesting. Come. Fantastic. So now last year, Rajeev, you acquired a company called Radvision, which is a video conferencing company. How has that impacted your business at Avaya?
It impacted our business two ways. One is if you look at within Avaya, within a week or 2 weeks, we had thousands of users on Radvision.
Right.
It changed the way we work. It changed the way we meet, the way we do conferencing. And today I do all my conferences on video.
That's lovely.
And when I get into audio only, I feel there's something missing. So you get used to seeing people. People are more attentive, people are more focused, and it's a shorter meeting as well. Then if you look at from its impact on Avaya, we saved about $18 million in a year in terms of the travel cost alone. So that's huge saving.
Oh, that's fantastic news for other companies as well.
Yes. So therefore, if you look at from a perspective of growth, we are growing significantly in that space. And we think we have a huge base out there. And video penetration is still not very high in India.
That's true.
Both in terms of enterprises, they have boardrooms or the video rooms, but they don't have on the desktop. What we are talking about is videos on the desktop. And what you see is everybody can get on a video conferencing. You can get it on the move as well. You can get it on your bring your own device. And that enhances the experience and productivity at the same time.
Interesting. So video conferences, a trend which we're latching onto in this country. It is still catching up, yet at a very nascent stage. We're going to take a quick break right here on Tea Time. On the other side, we will remain in conversation with Rajeev Mittal and get to know a little bit more about his personal journey better and his journey into golf as well. Welcome back. We're at a very hot Noida and we're at the Unitech Golf and Country Club. Let's go on through your golf journey as well. You picked on to golf when you were in India, you picked on to golf when you were in Singapore.
I picked on the golf very strangely, actually speaking, because one day my manager in IBM comes and says, hey, you know what? You guys do relationship, you interact
Singapore.
with customer, yeah, in Singapore. And she said, you must learn golf. And I said, okay. And that's how I started. Then I came home and I told my wife that I'm going to learn golf. And she said, I'm going to learn too. And so we picked up in Singapore. And surprisingly enough, she's a better golfer than I am.
Oh really? Where in Singapore did you live?
I lived in north of Singapore.
Okay.
And that's where I spent all the time. So I
Okay,
stayed
and
at
where
one
was the
place.
golf course there, where you started?
So I started in Seletar Golf Club, which is kind of a pay and play kind of thing.
Okay.
So I wasn't a member, but then I started playing in other golf courses as well.
So what prompted you to get into the software enterprise market? When you were growing up, is this all that you aspired to be, or was there any other career trajectory that you visioned for yourself?
Initially, I thought I'll be a banker, but just landed up a job in the IT sector, and that's where it began, and that's where it is. So it wasn't a planned move in terms of being in IT. And I always wanted to be a banker. I got a job in Citibank, which I didn't take for different reasons, and then landed up in the IT sector.
What about education in the IT sector today? How do you view it when you are hiring trained manpower of universities? Do you think we're producing the right kind of breed, which is employable?
Now, employability is a big question.
Exactly.
Barring the premium institute.
I read a study by Harvard Business Review just recently that 40% of Indian grads are unemployable as well. But having said that, you're talking about a niche segment like enterprise software. So go on.
So if you look at, I think the numbers will be much higher than 40% on the employability piece. But we hire from premium institute, so therefore you get the quality what you need. And but overall, if you look at it, there are good places, private sectors as well, but far from where they should be.
Right.
And I guess they're due for consolidation and change.
When you go out to hire employees from universities, which are the universities which are on the top of your radar at Avaya?
So we look at mostly engineering college because, as you know, we have a large contingent of development engineers. That's where we hire from college. In the sales, we hire very little from fresh graduates. We do lateral hiring and, more importantly, more with experience. So from a college, we go to engineering college and the IITs and the next level.
The IITs of the world, or you even trickle down to the B rung as well?
So we do go to the B rungs as well, and we do pick up people from there at the same time.
What do you think of the quality which India is churning out of IT professionals in this country?
The quality is mixed. If you look at it, the mass at the bottom, but at the top, and they're world class.
Right.
You can't really beat those guys in terms of the quality, both even if you look at the management spectrum as well, and an IT side. And if you look at the second rung, which is about the next level of colleges, I think they're good enough. They're good enough, and you do find sparks out there. Those are people who really want to do better in life. And I have seen a lot of these guys of having education which is not the premium institute, and they kind of work harder to get there, and they've been successful as well. So education is one piece of the equation.
So education, in your opinion, is what you make out of it, is what I understand from it.
That's
On
correct.
that wonderful note, let's finish our game. Come. Hours and hours of US Open seems to be playing off, I think, rubbing off on all our games. So what do you think of the US Open that recently concluded?
That was amazing, actually speaking, because I was up the night to really watch it, and the way it was playing is amazing, and you don't see the top-notch games out there.
What did you think of Jason Duffner's game?
Just outright amazing. I mean, I thought a day before people thought that he could be the one. And actually, he was the one. And the big names just disappeared.
What did you think of Tiger Woods in it?
Horrible round.
Really?
Yeah, he had a bad round and just nothing seemed to be working for him.
Does Tiger Woods otherwise inspire you or not? Which is the international golfer that you look up to?
Yeah, I think for everyone. There are not like Sachin Tendulkar or Tiger Woods in our generation. So we are fortunate to have such players around. And when you see Tiger, you see an athlete first, then a golfer.
Absolutely, the level of commitment.
And the focus, the amount of focus and the determination to win is just downright amazing.
So a lot of analogy you must be drawing out from business to golf and mixing it, taking it to the boardroom as well, or bringing the boardroom to the golf course for that matter, the other way around. How does that work out for you?
I think there's a lot of similarities. To me, from golf and to business, the basic stuff is honesty and integrity.
Okay.
This is one game which is played with all honesty. This is a game which you have to be self-disciplined about. You report your score. Nobody's watching over your shoulder. So a lot of honesty and integrity which comes into play. So that's one part. The second is, if you really look at, this is a good leveler, this game.
Absolutely.
You can have a great round.
I mean,
look at Tiger.
Any sport for that matter, I would say, is a great leveler. But golf is a better one, I would say.
It's a much more in terms of, you play a great round today.
Yeah.
And the next day you are humbled by the course and you have a bad round. And similarly, if you look at the other thing which I find about is you become very optimistic in this game.
Right.
You have a bad round, you say, you know what, today was a bad day for me at office, I'm going to come back and play better tomorrow. So you become much more optimistic than normally a person is, based on your past
A lot
experience.
of practical life lessons.
Yeah, and it's a bad day in office when you're at business.
Right.
Doesn't mean it's going to stay bad all the time.
All the time.
Just like golf. So remind yourself, you know, you had a bad round, then you had a great round. So when I feel frustrated, I think, you know what, it shall pass too.
So Indian golfers, now which are the Indian golfers that you look up to and whose style of playing inspires you the most?
Among them, I would say the older golfers, Rajeev Mittal is one.
Right.
And the younger one, Larry and others are really making an impact. I think golf is coming a long way. If you see today, I play usually at the DLF golf course, and I see a lot of kids there on Saturdays, Sundays, weekdays,
absolutely. I see
and they're
them
just
all the
picking up. And I guess India has a much better future than ever before.
Than ever before. I think this is the right time when it is catching on to it. I mean, compared it to 10 years ago, I didn't see that many kids on the driving range practicing after school as well.
And it's more accessible to people. Earlier it was kind of privileged people who could
You really
just play
feel
golf.
that it's that accessible?
It is. You look at the public courses today, even in Delhi, and then going
That's
on
just
there.
one, that's Ladussarai in Delhi.
Yeah, so there is at least one. There are more coming up. They're coming up in Dwarka and elsewhere. And in other places also you can pay and play. And that accessibility has increased. Number of courses have increased.
Right.
So therefore, you get to play more. You don't have to go travel 100
But would you
kilometers.
insist
play.
that's still a long way to go before golf becomes more accessible like it should, like any other sport?
Absolutely,
There's
yes.
still the
yeah,
elitist
absolutely,
style.
yes. Absolutely, yes. But still, I guess it's made some strides in terms of accessibility, but there's a long way to go, as you said. Absolutely.
All right, so a long way to go. And what a long way to go for Rajeev Mittal in his career now? What next?
I think I'm not looking at what's next. I've been here for a year and a half. I think we have an amazing future in front of us. I'm very bullish about it, as I said. And I guess next 4 or 5 years is doing the job and making a difference.
All right, so on that wonderful note, thank you so much
Thank
for joining
you.
me on Tea Time. It was indeed a pleasure to have you on the show.
It's my pleasure.
That's a wrap from me, Chaiti Narula, and the Managing Director of Avaya India, Rajeev Mittal. I will see you next week again with another interesting guest. Until then, keep putting things into perspective.